The following is a KPB Media Works production.
Choose your fighter.
Can't believe I'm even here.
Why are you here? Producer, why is this guy here, man?
I mean, you didn't invite me.
Can we just stop this right now? Can we just?
Already?
I'm done. I'm
Short-lived episode. I'm here for it. I don't want to be here anyway.
What's going on, guys? This is KP Miss Palmer here for another episode of KPBCast, and I'm here with one of my favorite FTC personalities, a good friend, someone that I've gotten to know from the beginning of my involvement in KPB.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we go back. We go very back. We're going to talk about all of that today. My favorite guy, your player's favorite guy. This is Coach Steve, a.k.a. Steven Delgado. How we doing, man?
I'm good, man. Got me here in 4K. Feel good.
4K.
Look good.
Awesome.
Looking good. It's been like a year and change since I've seen you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been what? Did I see you last at what you call it? Winter Brawl? Because that was the last event.
That was the last time I seen you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So how has life been since our shutdown for you, man? How's it been going for you?
I can't say it's been entirely bad. Like, I had a lot of ups and downs, but
of course,
mostly ups. You know, like I got to work on my streaming content creation, which was pretty much like a huge deal for me because I wouldn't be able to work otherwise.
Right.
So that took off really well, and it's still going. I'm in a relationship now. That started like when the shutdown started, also. So that kind of kept me.
You got in just in
that kind of
time.
kept me leveled. Yeah,
it
definitely.
The cold, you know.
It definitely kept me
nights.
leveled. Yeah, it definitely kept me leveled. So a lot of things have just been really good. Really
okay.
Good.
I know, like, you know, before we got on the air, you and I go back like to when we started KPB, pretty much like the first year.
Yeah.
And you got into the community just a couple of years before that, right? So
09.
Yeah. You're considered the 09. So what was that like? What was like? Matter of fact, before we even touch that, let's talk about just Steven before everything. Like
the humble beginnings.
Humble beginnings. What was Steven like before the afro and beard? Before, you know, the Blanca gameplay and stuff like that.
Before all of that.
Yeah.
So I've been playing games all my life. Of course, like most of us have been, right? Competitive wise, the first thing like I actually started out competitive wise is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory.
There was a competitive scene for that?
Oh, it was on GameBattles.com, yeah.
Okay,
so we played that. I was 11 years old.
All right.
So me and my brother played that. We were really good at the game. Like, we were among the higher ranks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we always got to compete every day after school. Just come home. Yo, find a Game Battles match right now. I'm like, we gonna find a Game Battles match right now. We just be there playing all day, working on strats and stuff like that. And then from there, it was Metal Gear Solid Online.
Okay.
Which was that was really fun, playing with my brother and my friends. I wasn't as good at that game, but it's the competitive drive was always there.
Okay.
So, like, you know, when I'm losing, I'm like, bro, why the hell am I losing? I don't think they're that good either. Like, you know, like, the hell am I doing wrong? Man. You know, yeah. You know, and then like, I didn't really like touch fighting games when I was younger. I did, but like 4 or 5 years old. The first one was Mortal Kombat. So, but from there is Gears of War, and we always just kept with the times for the competitive shooters and stuff like that.
Okay.
So,
you ever into stuff like CS:GO?
No,
or like
those I haven't played. CS:GO, I played a little bit of SOCOM, but yeah.
Everybody was kind of crazy for SOCOM.
I wasn't.
I do remember though. Like, everybody like
SOCOM 2 was like really big at the time. At that time, instead of SOCOM 2, we were playing Splinter Cell.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah.
And this was on what platforms for you?
PS2.
PS2. So did you have like the modem thing?
We had PS2 online. We had everything hooked up. We made sure our mom was like, "Yo, you know we need to do this, right?"
I think I got serious online gaming PS2 when it was like Final Fantasy 11.
Okay, yeah.
Final Fantasy 11 was like one of those things where like I played for briefly, maybe like a year.
Yeah.
And stuff, and like I remember like just having to buy. I don't know if you remember. It was either you played on PC or you had to have the big PS2s that was able to have the drive.
Yeah,
because if you couldn't support that, so then when that came out, those PS2s were in big demand because like you had to, if you bought the game, it came with a huge hard drive. You had to insert.
Yeah, that's what we had that.
That was like installing that to like an hour or like two, and that was like such a headache. But I definitely remember those times.
Yeah, but that was some good times back then. That was like during high school, like early middle school, high school, and then in 2009, that's when we found out that Street Fighter 4 was coming out. And then one day, I didn't know my brother was even bringing it home. One day, my brother just brought it home, and then we were playing for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then we pretty much did the same thing because that had a game battles platform too. That was the way we knew how to compete at the time. I didn't know about like actual tournaments. I didn't know about like
locals and stuff like that. Okay.
I barely even knew forums existed. But I'm doing that, and after a while, I just start like steering ahead of like between me and my brother. And I kept going with it until eventually like I found out like there's an actual like scene per se, like just offline playing, going to tournaments. So my mom took me to my first tournament. It was offline because it was in White Plains actually. I forget the name of the store, but that was the first ever tournament I went to. It was kind of small. It was like 20 something.
White Plains, New York. White Plains,
New York.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I can't remember what was around then, but
it was, I forget the type of venue. I remember like it was in April. It was like the first time I ever like just competed offline. I was playing Blanca on pad, and my first opponent, his name was Grand Calc, and played Balrog. And I played the game for a while, so I know like, yo, this matchup really sucks, and this is my first match. Like, I ended up beating him, but like my controller was broken like at the same time. Like I don't know how I'm gonna win. I don't have another controller right now.
Right.
But then like I ended up just doing dumb Blanca shit and just kind of robbing the way.
How far did you go in that tournament?
I got to Winterside Grand Finals, but he met me back there.
Oh, and ran it back.
He beat me 4 straight. Oh. Like it was bad. Reset. Got reset. Got smoked in the reset. I tried every character that I knew to play. And then I went home with that salty ass second place. I was in that car. I was in that car so mad. Like they just saw me like, yo, I can't believe I let this happen.
Oh man, you think if you had a working controller, it'd have been a better outcome? Or
I don't know, because I know I was nervous too.
Okay, all right.
So like the outcome, maybe it wouldn't have changed, but that was the first taste I got of like, damn, I really got there, and then I got smoked. That was the first thing that happened to me in a tournament, and like in an offline tournament. So. But after that, I started looking up more and more tournaments. So I started traveling through all the boroughs, Long Island, and I was always placing well. So I made some, like, it was nice money on the side because, like, I'm a kid. I don't need a lot of money right now.
Money, just make pocket change.
It was nice little pocket change.
Never go hungry in the street, kind of thing.
Yeah, I got to have money after school. I don't got to ask nobody for nothing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so that was always nice.
I think now I know we talked about your history between us, and like, was it that tournament, that clear wireless tournament where I first met you physically?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the one with Native Impact.
Yeah. Oh man, you know how salty you was in that tournament.
I'm pretty sure that was the first time I met you.
Yeah.
It was either that or it was at your house.
I think you came after.
I think I came after.
We had just started KPB like I think less than a month before.
Yeah.
So you came to that, but the first time I actually met you in person was at that, because it was you, it was Jerron.
Yeah.
It was Native Impact, and it was 4 people, right?
Lionheart.
Yeah.
Lionheart. Yeah.
Lionheart was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we went together.
Okay. Yeah. All right. There's like 4 or 5 people, and we kind of ended up round robbing the tournament. Yeah. So I believe you came in second, but yeah, I do remember your match with Native Impact.
I was a salty ass kid, yo. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I did not like losing. I don't even like being close to losing.
I think about how crazy that tournament was in terms of logistics, because I didn't want to do the tournament that day because I told the guy, like, yo, this is Evo weekend, like.
Yeah,
this is the one tournament where like no one's doing anything FTC wise that everybody's watching Evo. He insisted.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I guess it happens that I guess you guys didn't go to Evo.
No, we didn't go to Evo.
Yeah, and so you guys came through, which in its own, like, you guys were all entertaining, competitive fighting game.
That event was really fun
in your own right. Aside from it being hot in a tiny like, store, you know, like it was pretty fun. And I just remember, like, even though you had that you were salty, I always was reminded of your competitive spirit.
Yeah,
and I think you have one of the biggest competitive spirits in all of the FTC.
Yeah, like I said, it's always been around since I was just young.
Yeah,
and none of us want to lose in anything.
Like if success was measured on that, you'd be number one, like tops. And then, you know, I'm not saying that because you're my friend and like we know each other, like. Because even then, even though you've been to my house back then, like, you know, we didn't bond until over the years, and like,
well, you're not the first person to say things. You're definitely not even like the 10th person to say things. Like I've been told this like for years, like since people like met me. Like, and I remember there was this one tournament. So they had City of Brass hosted the Road to Evo tournament.
Yes, I remember. He used to do those. He used to fly them out. Right? He used to pay for their
like used to fly out the winner.
Yeah.
And I believe I got second place to Dominion. I think it was the first one that he did. And like they saw me afterwards, like how sad I was completely. That like losing that like broke my heart. I was like, I really wanted to go.
Right.
And like I know I can beat Dominion. I have before. Right. But that day it just wasn't meant to be.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know?
Shouts to Kev.
Oh yeah, no, that's brother.
Awesome dude. I've been trying to find you, man, to get you on here, but you're disappeared, man. I don't know where you are.
Oh, that's classic. Yeah. He
classic. In the shadows.
Yeah.
Dark man.
Yeah, I miss him. Yeah, I learned a lot from him though. Like, you know, he kind of mentored me over the years. So
yes,
him and Jerron especially.
Awesome guy. I don't know if you knew about my history with them. We go back to the 90s, late 90s. We go back to, they used to be arcade on Cambridge called Near Crash.
Yeah, Kevin told me. Yeah, Kevin told me. We spoke a lot about a lot of things.
Yeah. So
he ended up bringing that up in some.
I literally saw the formation of EMP in that arcade.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about.
Where was it? It was in the Heights, right?
It was right on Kingsbridge Road. You know where the library is on Kingsbridge, the big library?
Yeah.
It was across the street in this little bodega like size. It was a little comic shop. Had like 4 or 5 games. And I used to work there. I knew the guy for many years. That shop actually used to be on the other side of Kingsbridge, where you're going down that hill, that steep hill. So it used to be on the bottom of the hill on like another bodega spot.
I know that is. Yeah. Okay.
So, I met the likes of Jerron, Dominion, Sanford, Triforce. You know, I got Triforce stories for days.
Probably Yipes over there too.
Yeah, Yipes probably. I had a falling out with the owner like in the beginning of like the century, like 2000. Yeah, and so I stopped going there. But I know people were coming in after that. Yeah, that have been a part of the community for sure. But I definitely recall like Triforce coming in. We used to have an issue with Triforce, right? Because we're in arcade, we're trying to make money, coming in and playing games, right? He used to literally come into the store and take players off the machine and say, "Come to my house and practice." And like that's like a arcade operator's nightmare. That's like how you coming in.
You're not supposed to come into somebody's business.
Yeah. And he used to do that to us for years. And like, and the guy I worked with, he owned the place. Like he was livid every time he walked in. He got to the point he got banned. I'm like, you can't come here. So he's actually to stop outside and wait outside and like have, you know, potential players come to his house. You know. Yeah. Little did we know that was the start of like maybe the Arc and like Empire and like. You know,
that sounds crazy.
We know how that
began.
Yeah. So I always have that story that not many people in the community that are still around have. You know,
that's funny.
But I think it's pretty interesting.
But drag them out of an arcade in a store. That's the start of EMP. Nice.
Official. I don't care. Trifle.
Official. Unofficial.
Yep. You can deny it or quote me, but this is what happened. You know this how it happened. I will confront you if you want to. Anyway. But yeah, like, you know, we touch on like how great of a competitor you are, and like another story I have of you. I don't know if you remember, like one of the first. I think you came over to my place maybe twice back in the day. Yeah. And like the first time you came, I don't know if you remember. This is a blow up to John. So we had these 2 twins, Spencer and John, on our team. Yeah. And I know you have to remember this, right? We had John was a Gen player. Yeah. And
I remember.
You.
I don't remember the whole story, but I remember one played Gen, the other they played like Bison.
Yeah, I think I don't even think you played Blanca.
Yeah,
and you must have been like at least 25-0 on him at one point. And I don't know if you knew, but we were all crying in the background. Like, we could not stop laughing because I love John, but he's so fucking stubborn.
Yeah.
And, like, he swears that, like, people are bad.
Yeah.
And,
so
like, like
that happens.
Like, one time I had an argument with him because Cien won Evo with Gen.
Yeah.
And he considered Gen a shitty Gen player. I'm like, then who are you? Like, where, like, are you serious right now? You know,
you can't be that stubborn.
But that's what we had to deal with, and it was
that's
like,
how some people are, though.
Yeah, it was so entertaining. I don't know if you knew.
Nah, I mean, because you know, back then, especially when I was playing, like, no matter where I was at, it's usually like some tunnel vision shit.
Yeah.
Like,
you were focused.
I'm only just playing, even if it's like super casual, some shit.
But
like,
I think you should have said something to humble himself, like, cause he wasn't touching you, dude.
I mean, I don't know. For me, the score would do it, right? Like, I don't have to say anything.
I know.
I don't like. I didn't really care to.
Yeah, right.
I'm just like, you're getting fucked up. But then, like, especially when the matches are all the same, that means you're not learning anything.
Right.
Right. So I shouldn't have to tell you, but maybe back then I could have said a word.
You could have said something. It was so entertaining, and I miss those days of just having like the guys over and we just order food and this BS. We had like 2 or 3 setups.
Yeah.
We even streamed a little bit on the side, you know, and then like. So I think were you involved with a team at the time? Was that DMG?
What year was that? It might have been DMG.
That was 2011.
2011.
Maybe after.
I think that was DMG.
You was DMG for sure.
Pretty sure. I wasn't DMG. I forget if it was. I don't know if it was a year before that or if I was already with Bifu. But I'm pretty sure I was with DMG though.
I think you was definitely with DMG before Bifu.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it might have been.
It was DMG and then Dre.
So how was that? How was that experience for you?
DMG
being just being with a team the first time, someone saying or someone seeing, I guess, value in you or like ability in you and like saying, hey, come on board.
So initially, right, because you know DMG had their falling out, but initially it was actually really cool because I didn't know what to expect. Right. Nobody really knew what to expect, right? But like being able to say that like you're a part of something like that at that time, like especially at my age, like you know we're young and gullible sometimes, right? So it was cool, and then you know doing my research on like other players that are being on the team, like oh okay, we have PR Balrog, like really solid, really good Street Fighter 4 player. Yeah, Perfect Legend has his own Evo history and stuff.
Perfect
like
Legend,
that.
I think it was Core at the time was on the team.
Core, yeah.
Burn Your Brawl.
We had Burn Your Brawl. Eventually, we got some more people. We had Fab, Lionheart, and we had more and more. So it was a really good squad. It was just the person at the head was you know I do like scummy lion shit like that. Yeah. And eventually, like you know, everything just kind of fell out. Like he owes us so much shit. You know how many sticks I'm owed. I know like some people are owed a lot of money, and you know when that happens, you disappear off the face of the earth.
How not to run a team 101.
Yeah, it was bad. Like we all had to leave. I had so many times I was promised to go to this tournament, that tournament. I had already got like my parents' approvals. Like that part was fine. I was like, oh, okay, so now you just got to get me here. Yeah, and that couldn't happen.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, like my first final round didn't happen until like 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Because of that. Like I would have went to like I think in 2011 I would have went to the final round. Went to Evo.
And didn't happen.
Nothing.
So sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you got out of it. I will say this: I can't speak for the rest of the team, but I was low key jealous of you guys.
I understand. At that time, because it's like
I really wanted my team to have like a Mad Cat sponsorship.
Yeah.
And I felt like
it was doing good.
Yeah,
Everything was doing good.
And I felt we were there. We were right there. Like
yeah.
I guess what for us it was the exposure. We didn't have enough of that.
Yeah.
We did kind of. I think we had like Jerron on our team at the time, which kind of helped us visibly with Street Fighter a little bit.
Yeah. For sure.
And then I felt like not DMG at the time, but other teams that didn't do anything with being sponsored. I'm like, you know, I'm like, come on.
Well, then you got to consider like in the business sense of things, it's like who you know.
Right. Yeah.
Like you never know like how they knew this person. It's like, oh yeah, I got you.
I low key wanted like a Mac Hats.
Yeah, all of that shit, like especially for like growing up like that, like, that shit was cool.
That shit was dope.
Like the Mad Cat shirts, you know, I got a few sticks here and there, right? Everything was cool. Everything was cool. And then the team, we all loved each other.
Right.
So
I think that's important. That's an important dynamic.
Yeah.
I talk to players that are in teams. I won't say who, but some of them tell me that they don't have that like family aesthetic.
Yeah.
On the team, like it's all business.
Yeah,
I get it. If the team is centered around a business like plan, I get that. That has to work so that the team can function.
Yeah.
But I think when you're spending time with these people, you have to kind of build that.
Yeah, you have to find the balance between business and family and stuff.
Of course, yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been like around so long is because we've had people over the years on our team that we really treated like family. And then like my first thing to someone that's on the team is like, yo, if you need anything, like if something's going on personally, you can talk to anyone. Here's my number. Here's Steve's number. Like you don't even have to contact me through email. Like you have my personal number. You can reach me anytime. Like I consider you part of my family now. So and that's how I've always treated everyone that's come across like our team. So and I think that's such an underrated aspect in winning these esports teams. And
like unfortunately, like the head of DMG, like his ego just got inflated or whatever the hell happened. But the players themselves, we were all pretty much family at the time. So
I mean, you guys are still more or less cool. We're staying in touch.
Yeah.
Like I know we see when we see like Lionheart around, we say what's up.
Of course, yeah. That's
like
he's still a brother to me. Of course, Jason, Rico. I spoke to Rico a few times.
Jason also he's killing it with the photography right now.
Yeah.
Like he's so killing it. Like I'm so proud of him. Like if I could just mention this real quick, I remember on our website years ago before it went down, I did a interview with Jason. A text interview, an article, and like he was telling me about like how there was prominent FTC photographers that were keeping him down. Yeah, and like would say mean stuff to him because he's trying to do something. Yeah, and they pretty much like his attitudes like that scared him away from like or moved him away from the FTC, and he's so beyond this person right now in his community. Like he's leagues ahead of this guy now. And
Jason, I mean, I look at his Twitter all the time. Yeah, he takes some amazing ass pictures.
Shouts to Jason, man. And he gave me such a cool and real interview. He talked about DMG a little bit in the interview, stuff like that. And I just, sometimes great things come out of bad situations. Yeah, and that's something you should always like remember and think about. I
think that was one of them for sure. Like DMG didn't work out, but it also just taught me a lot about people and the people that I'm going to potentially be interacting with. Right. So it also just made me more, because I'm really reserved and just cautious overall about the people that I'm around.
Of course, yeah.
And things like that. So it really just put that sense of urgency in me to make sure that like this can't happen again, because it won't work out.
Right. So definitely. So you move on from that, and then we go to Bifuteki. Yeah. Right. Of course, I mentioned Dre and Bifuteki on our show a lot. He's a great friend of ours. Yeah. We do a lot of work with him.
Yeah, and that squad is still family. Yeah, he's always family. Dre is pretty much like a pops to me. I tell him all the time.
How was that dynamic different from DMG?
More homely, but at the same time, we also got to see each other more, right? And then I traveled a lot with Dre, so we always just talk, do shit like that. And I'm never not comfortable around him, Like it's always a good vibe. Like I learned a lot from him over the years, still learning a ton of things.
Still, every day. This guy.
Yeah, I can always just reach out. And, the same thing with the team in general, too. Like, we got our own little text chat that we talk every day still. So, nothing's really changed except, like, I just don't have beef in front of my name anymore, right? But, like, still family. It's always been like that.
That's the way it should be. I think, like, we make these bonds and relationships that kind of carry themselves and, like, stay strong. Yeah. So any changes that happen within the community and within each other personally, So
yeah, like they're always here for me. Like I got my first Evo medal under the Bifuteki tag, so I'm always proud of that, to be able to represent the family like that. So
let's talk about this fight forever, man. I love this. Yeah. Thank you for this, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
I really appreciate it. What were the origins of this, man? How did this start?
It's so around 2016ish. I kind of flew into like a depression state, right? So it was pretty much depression combined with alcoholism, combined with like a lot of other different things that I was feeling, right? At the same time, between like 2016, 2018, like kind of losing people more, like, like death and things
Right.
like that, right? And then eventually it got to the point where I was like, I don't really want. I don't know, like, if I want to just like be around anymore. Like, I had all these like negative connotations and thoughts, and then I kept having to tell myself to just survive and just not give up on yourself. And eventually, I had lost like a really good friend of mine, and that took me to an even worse path. And then I had an artist that I asked him, because at the time we had Every Day We Fight.
Right. Yes.
Right. We've been from 2013 onward.
Right.
Right. And then eventually it kind of shifted to the Fight Forever kind of tag, or whatever you want to call it. Right. For me, it's just a way of life, but like whatever you want to call it, whatever it is to you. When I saw the logo, I started crying. Actually, when I saw the logo, I was like, this is something I didn't actually expect. Like, I didn't know what to expect how it came out.
Right.
Because, with that artist, name is Artist Uno, by the way. I am always grateful for you. I always tell him, like, because he done a lot of work for me, like, for Twitch and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, with this, all I ask is just take your time. I don't have an idea in my head of what I want it to even look like, but just take your time. And then whenever it's ready, it's ready. And then when you showed it to me, I was in awe. It hit me really hard. I'm like, you know what? Like, I really have no reason to be giving up on myself like this.
Right.
So it kind of brought me back up a lot. Yeah. And then that's pretty much like how that started with that. And then now, like the times now with COVID and whatever, I'm like, you know what? People are being complete head asses, not wearing masks and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? This will look really good on a mask.
Yes.
So let's do this and just spread something like really positive for people that are also going through everything that they
and it's wonderful, because I look at this and like, this doesn't have to be FTC related, like,
at all.
It could be anyone going through a struggle.
Yeah.
Anyone that just needs that extra inspiration and extra push, and I think this is awesome. Like,
yeah, and it helped me get that push, to just get my drive back for everything that I had lost, and especially just want to keep on living. So
I really appreciate it. I hope like people will, like, I definitely would buy this, and if you have other merchandise, for sure. Like,
I don't at the moment, but there are things being worked on.
I'm a hoodie guy, so you get that hoodie going. I wear it definitely.
You get the summer discount sales.
Yeah. He goes, terrible whole segue. Speaking of losing, how have you felt about your like tournament results? Because I felt like you've always been like the best guy to never win like the super big one, man. And like, I always rooting for you. I'm always
as much as that sentence hurts me. It's the truth, though. Like, it used to eat me up a lot. Like, just always being that close, and then it just falls right out of my hands. It used to eat me up a lot. And it did contribute to being depressed too. Actually,
let me tell you, when I say like,
it's really rough.
I root for you, and I wish I had told Steve about this. Steve, our producer, of course. There's a photo of me like just going like, yeah. And I know exactly where that's from. That was the ECT when you had the exhibition against Flux.
Oh,
and like yo, the whole city was like had your back. Like,
that was a scary exhibition.
Oh, tell me all about it, man. How did it come to be? And
that was scary. Okay, yeah. So there are those people that you play games with, right? It's never gonna be personal. I hate everything about you as a player.
You talked about this, yes.
I hate everything about you as a player. I did not think Flux was good.
Yeah.
All this and that. We ended up having constant like back and forth. Yeah. So what started that was Civil War that year.
Okay.
Civil War 2014.
I remember Civil War. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So me and Flux played twice that tournament. We played in winners and in losers. Right. He beats me in winners, and then I take him out at fourth place. And then I'm talking my shit, doing whatever. I'm like all of that just to get fourth place. And then whatever, we go on our way.
Yeah.
All right, and then I got second that time too, of course. But it was only to Ray. But after that, people started seeing that like this is some real shit, and then eventually Elijah kind of reached out. I think he reached out to us individually about wanting to do this exhibition. Of course, we agreed. We're not gonna not gonna just deny this.
Right.
Yeah, settle it. All right. It comes time to play the exhibition. I'm feeling really like confident about how I've been playing in general, and then like I have my own strategy. Do whatever I had to do to like win.
What was the team at the time? Were you?
It was the same. Team? Nova Spencer Doom.
Okay,
yeah. And we're playing, right? And then like I'm noticing a pattern like in the score of how it's going. So he would always be up. Let's say like in increments of 5. Like the first 5 games, he'll be up 4-1, but then I'd come back to get the 5, right? And then this went again to score 10.
Yeah.
And then eventually I pull ahead, and on the last game, what was supposed to be the last game, it was 14-10, I think. I drop an easy ass Doom combo, right? Because I just miss a super input,
right?
And then I lose that game, and then he starts coming back. And next thing I know is 14-14, and I'm like, I really let this happen instead of just closing it out. So for me, in my head, that's what made me like kind of nervous, because like I've been here before, and the outcome that I see the majority of the time is not the one that I want to see right now.
Right.
Because after all this shit talk that we've been doing to each other, none of us want to lose.
Right.
So after that happened. I won the last game. Everybody it was crazy. It was a crazy set. It was crazy time.
Yes, chance.
Yeah.
FTC Daniel Bryan, like, yes.
It was crazy time. It was crazy time.
I thought they were going to like destroy the stage. Everybody jumped on the stage.
Yeah. Like, I got rushed. I got rushed, picked up. It was nice. It was scary. It was scary because like that was one exhibition. If I were to lose any, I did not want to lose that one.
Right. Yes, I definitely hear that.
Yeah. But that was a strong year for me actually. 2014 is probably still one of my better years.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Flux now, of course, we're great friends, brothers, But yeah. After that, we just we still had like the rivalries going on, stuff like throughout that year.
Is good because the important part of the rivalry is that you kept it in house. You kept it in the game, right? It wasn't like if I see you outside the bar, I'm gonna punch in your face.
It's kind of times now are like really weird. So like back then, that was like one of the last few rivalries that like was organic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, like people trying to like force too much,
right?
And it doesn't make anything look like interesting at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have two people that just don't like each other in this game,
right,
and just want to fuck each other up,
right?
Like people want to see that.
Definitely, yeah.
You don't got to force it. It's supposed to just happen naturally.
In my entire time in FTC, there's nothing more hype than Marvel 3 exhibitions. Like, Marvel 2 definitely cemented history in FTC and stuff like that. But I think exhibition-wise, for me, and I mentioned this before in other podcasts, there's nothing more hype than like a Marvel 3.
Marvel 3 had some really strong exhibitions.
And, like I mentioned before, I think had an episode with Gilbert, Punisher.
Yeah.
And I talked about how like the incoming is always like one of the hypest parts in the match, right? The incoming, like what are you gonna do?
It's
like,
crazy.
It's
like, crazy.
And it's like that would always like get me with like
hype is the right word for a spectator.
Yeah.
But when we're dealing with that
shit. Oh, but no, I can only imagine like and then like the countless scrambles that happen in that game.
Yeah,
like,
it
has to be anxiety inducing. Like
it's really something else.
Yeah, definitely.
Me and Punisher had rivalry too. I had quite a bit with a few people.
What were some of your favorite rivalries besides the Flux?
Me and Flux,
and not just in Marvel. I know you play a bunch of games across the
board. My favorite ones were the Marvel ones though, for sure. Me and Flux, me and Prodigy was good. Me and Ray Ray. Because I was like, me and Ray Ray is always like a student master type shit, and then it's like, I'm always close. Like our sets are 10-9 or whatever it is, either like one way or the other.
Right.
I got him once, and then like we played at Curly Mustache. It was 10-9. It's always going back and forth, game for game. And yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite ones. Me and Punisher, that was pretty fun because he was another one I just didn't like the way he played. Right, but like he's also kind of stubborn too. Yeah. So. It was fun, like interacting with him and playing him. I did him dirty one time. He knows this because we laugh about it now.
Yeah.
But it was at Defender North. I forget which year, but so right before that, I wasn't gonna enter Marvel because I was playing Injustice 2. This is when the Pro Series was going. So I was like, I'm just gonna only go for Injustice 2, right? And then I said, we were at the house and we were playing, and I don't know what it was. We were just talking mad shit. I don't know what happened, and then eventually I was like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna enter Defender North strictly to fuck you over and make sure you can't play on Sunday. So you know what I did? I was a late entry, right? So I don't get seated.
Yeah.
So I like, okay. So I have to map out my bracket to make sure I meet you in losers in a specific spot. So I met him at 9th place, like for top 8.
Yeah.
So bracketology, guys, you can always map out your road however you want to go about this, right? He had to play Chris G first round. So I'm like, you're either gonna win and this will not happen, or as I expect, you're gonna lose and make it through losers and run into me. I had to lose at a specific point in the match
to make sure you got to him.
Yeah, so I ended up having to play.
So you literally joined the tournament to play spoiler for this guy?
Yeah.
Okay, so go continue.
So yeah, so I had to play. I had to win my first match, and then I had to lose my second match, and then I did that, and then
when you lost, did you sandbag? Did you feel like? Did the guy win that one had no business beating you kind of thing? Like
he was making it really hard to lose. As fucked up as that sounds, no, he wasn't terrible. It's just he was just having a bad day.
Yeah,
he's just making it really hard to lose. I'm like, damn it, you're gonna make this impossible. But I did what I wanted to do, right? And then I'm going through losers. I almost lose in losers. I'm like, fuck, like this would be bad. But I end up playing him. I play him. I beat him 3-0, and then I unplug my stick and say, I'm going home and I'm not coming back. I didn't come back that Sunday. There was a DQ win on the loser side.
That's terrible, man. How do you feel about that?
It was pretty good at the time. Now we laugh at it, you know. Yeah.
But hey, you know what?
It was a little fucked up.
You've done technically nothing wrong because he should have won his match.
Yeah.
Right. So you technically did not do anything
wrong. I told you exactly what I was going to do. That's how I feel about it. So I don't feel bad.
So his only request was to beat you. Yeah. And he didn't. So
beat me or beat Chris.
Yeah, or beat Chris. Basically. Yeah.
So none of that happened. So what do we got to feel bad about?
That's hilarious. Someone did that. I mean, no real relation, but someone did that in one of our beatdowns. They had it out for somebody in Dragon Ball. Was it Cisco? It was Cisco, right? Oh my god, yeah, it was Cisco, Francisco. Random thing. And this guy,
he was another one. Rivalry wise.
Was it Wekunai? It was Wekunai, I think. Ichiran.
This was in Dragon Ball.
Yeah. He beat him, and then he left.
Oh, and god.
Yeah, and he was so sick. Like he left, and we were just crying in tears and stuff. So. I get that and stuff, but again, there was no funny. Actual foul play. You got to win your match.
Yeah,
right. And there's nothing against doing that. So,
yeah, but that was a fun time. That was definitely a fun time.
What are your favorite venues to go to of the venues you've been to? Favorite tournaments?
It's kind of hard to say. I like the as far as like biggie ones. Obviously, I mean the Sheridan's long gone, but I like the casino one.
The Valley Forge. Yeah, that was a cool spot.
I think that one was really good.
Yeah.
It was also easy for me to get to because there was a random bus in New York that just went there.
Yeah,
so it was really easy to get to.
So that was a cool venue. It kind of had everything there, and you didn't have to really do much. If you want to gamble without your thing, you can just go down to the casino. That was one of my favorite. I liked the ballroom space. It was huge. You wasn't on top of each other and stuff like that. I think one year we were forced back to the smaller venues because there was like water damage or something. Yeah,
I remember that. That was
even then. Those because I think that first year we went to that venue, we used those smaller rooms. Yeah, and those weren't so bad either. We had the one big room upstairs, and then like the downstairs basement had like a big space. Yeah, it was pretty spread out. So
it was good. A lot of space to walk around, which is I don't like being clumped up with everybody. So it was good. Which Evo venue was it? I forget. Last year Evo, not last year. 2019. Yeah, 2019 Evo was good.
Well, I'm sure they had to pay a pretty penny for
Yeah.
that kind of space, but at least you're not on top of people.
Yeah.
Like you literally had spots in the middle of like the convention center where there's no one. You could just stand there and there's no one on top of you.
Yeah.
And so then the walls were free.
I was a fan of just big space. Just let me walk freely.
Let me
please.
breathe. Yeah. I just hated walking from like wherever.
Yeah, that's the only like
I felt like
downside.
You just like a trolley or a bus. Yeah, something like that. Just get,
give me something to make
like
it
15
easier.
minutes to like walk to like from the hotel to like.
Yeah, those walks are kind of annoying, but aside from that, it's been pretty much a year and change since we traveled. So the final combat venue for it was gonna be LCQ, but when they did the finals
in Chicago before the
it was last March. It was in Chicago.
The one before they had shut down.
Yeah.
The
finals venue being in there was amazing. Like it was really, really good. It's a nice small split. Like it was like I think it was like a theater. So like if we were able to have like actual crowd, like it would have been pretty much packed like to the top, stuff like that. The ground floor was good. They had a lot of setups just for whoever wanted to play. Open bar.
That's nice. It sounded like it was nice.
And then like the way they had the stage was phenomenal. They had it pretty much like the tournament stage that's in the game, that's in Mortal Kombat 11. So they had it looking like that on the actual stage.
America, we need you guys to get your shit right so we can get back to our lives and do this fun stuff.
It feels like it's just America, by the way, right?
I'm putting America on
actually,
blast
no, it's not just UK is pretty down.
UK, but these countries, these like so quote unquote, superpower countries that are so ignorant. Like, come on, dude, like get your act together so we can all go back to like doing what we love.
Yeah, we need that. I remember like, that one was rough too because when the shutdown happened, we got the email. I was in a plane already with one of my homies. We were on the runway already taking off, and then we got the email that said LCQ's canceled. So we couldn't even get off the plane if you wanted to. Like I was like, yo,
stuck having to eat.
I'm going to sleep, bro. Like I'm gonna just pretend this is a bad dream for the next few hours, and then.
Yeah, were you able to at least enjoy your time in Chicago?
Yeah, that was one of the best times I've had actually.
Oh, that's good.
It was just unfortunate that I couldn't play, especially like the time I felt like I was playing really good. But we didn't get a real chance. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I get it. Your favorite tournament in terms of your performance?
It's still probably Evo 2014.
Evo 2014. What happened that year?
Yeah,
so I can recall. I don't recall too much.
Yeah. So that year I played 4 different games. I think 4 different games. I played Street Fighter 4, Marvel 3, Cross Tekken, and Injustice 1 was at the time. The first day was Street Fighter, and I lost my first round match. This bracket was big, by the way. It was like 2,000 some people. I lost my first round match. I'm like, yo, really? At Evo? It was a Blanca mirror, by the way. I lost a Blanca mirror.
So the Blanca lost a Blanca mirror?
I lost a Blanca mirror.
That must be rough.
Like, first round. His name was Flash House.
Oh, but Flash House. We talked about Flash House in the past before. When I believe I've actually.
He was good.
Who's the best Blanca? You said Flash House.
Yeah, he's good.
So it's not just any Blanca.
It was just annoying that I lost first round.
Yeah. But then why would they even see? That's bad seeding, I think.
I don't know, actually. I thought the seeding was really bad too, because like the winner of us made it out the pool like for free.
Yeah.
I don't like.
That's
whatever.
terrible. You should have. Yeah, that was terrible seeding.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've definitely had this competition in the past. So I would actually like, who do you think the best Blancas are? Because I thought it was you.
Yeah. After I moved on eventually.
Yeah.
And after that is Flash House. And then there's this other one from Texas as well. But yeah, he beat me first round, and then I make it through my pool and losers, and then I'm like, yo, I still got a long way to go to get like anywhere, like
You're
top
not even,
32. I'm just scratching the surface.
If for those that don't know and never been to Evo is an all day process. Like you kind of want to get your rest and get an early bracket.
Yeah.
Because if your expectation is to do well, you're gonna be there pretty much all day.
Yeah, and you don't want to go to losers that early. You don't want to go to losers period, right? Because you gotta play double the matches. So if you start from the complete bottom, you're gonna have a long road. So I end up making it. I keep winning, whatever. I run into Aliun eventually.
Aliun, okay.
Yeah, so we played. It was Cammy versus Sakura because I didn't want to play Blanca in that matchup. That matchup, yeah. the game was close, but the combo drops were hurting me. So I'm like, I don't know if it's because like I'm not too warm character yet, or like if it's like nerves or something. So eventually, like I lose and I switch to Blanca, and then he goes up one round really fast. I'm like, well, okay, this might be the end. This might be the end of my day today, right? I hit him with a wake up throw. I'm like, you know what? I got to do something, man. I got to do something. You could do anything. You could have just meated me and
right.
Just killed me.
Cammy was ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm out here getting unblockable.
Which way do you block?
Yeah, I'm out here getting unblockable. And
yeah.
I'm like, all right, whatever. I end up landing like a wake up throw, or no, it was a like EX ball, like the rainbow ball, like fake, and then like I land in front of him and throw him. So then I do the ultra 50-50, but I close my eyes.
You close your eyes.
I close my eyes. I close my eyes because I'm like, yo, if this hits, then I'm back in the tournament. Yeah. But if I lose, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to see it. I won that round because I landed it.
Yeah.
And then after that, the next round, I beat the shit out of him.
Oh, man.
And then we're in the last game. And then we get to the last game, last round. And then I just hit him with some whole Blanca shit. And I was like, I'm still in this tournament. I guess.
That must have been great because he's no slouch. He's one of the
it was expected for me to lose. I know he was
and he's good across a bunch of games.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He's definitely really, really good. I did not expect the match to go that way, but I'm glad it did. I won 2 more matches after that, I think, and then now I'm playing my qualifying match for top 32. I'm like, I really just made it all the way here. I don't know what the hell happened, but it's playing out of my mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, and then I play Eita from Japan. So we played Blanca Akuma, and he just completely outclassed me. I'm like,
right.
Damn, you're just that much better than me, I guess. So, but we had a good run.
Had a good run. I think people, even if you're like someone who knows about like the fighting community and tournaments, Evo is another monster in itself because it's definitely upset city for your favorite player. It's upset city for your favorite player's favorite player.
Yeah.
And you can't, it's almost like trying to, I don't know if you're into sports, like trying to guess the March Madness bracket.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get with an Evo bracket.
Right. Yeah. You never know what you're going to get. And like one of my favorite things about Evo was looking for the upsets.
Yeah.
Right. Or hearing that so-and-so didn't make it out.
You'll find them.
They're there. You'll find them. They happen in the first round, I can say that I've made it out of one pool ever in Evo.
Yeah.
Oh, a Samurai Showdown last year. We were into the game at the time.
Yeah.
So,
I seen y'all playing it a lot.
Yeah. And we Steve and I we did pretty well. I think he got out his pool in winners actually, and I got out in losers. And I think I won like maybe 1 or 2 matches into it. I was like top 128 maybe. Like bravo. I don't know. But no, it's a thing. Like so between the endurance.
That's the main thing. Evo is a huge endurance test.
Endurance, nothing's guaranteed for anybody. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah,
I've been in tournaments where Daigo didn't even make it out of like the pools. I mean, I know he had a rough time in the beginning of Street Fighter V with character.
But the thing is, like hearing something like that, it's just like
what?
Yeah, like who did he lose? Like who is that?
Like who beat him? And there's some like random person, and it's like. It's wild. So, but that's part of the experience, right? Of like FGC and like these big events that I think are so cool and stuff. And it really tests you mentally. Like, mental fatigue is a thing in these tournaments. Like you're playing all day. I think especially on like a Saturday.
Saturdays, so I'm gonna get into Saturday too.
If you have high expectations for yourself as a competitive player. I think Saturday is the worst day to play. Depending on how you feel.
I think it varies per person.
Yeah, I'm a momentum guy.
Yeah.
I've played games on one day and was hot, and the next day I was cold, and I just was like
that happens.
So there are times where I feel like if I have momentum, I want the tournament to end now because I'm running through everybody.
That's also it helps playing multiple games there too because I stay hot all the time. Stay hot. Like if I have like 2 games a day, like it's draining. But like during the time, like I'm already like maxed out on adrenaline or something like that. Then once I'm done, I'll probably just fall out like dead somewhere.
Oh yeah, we've seen that plenty of times. You've been a couple body pages here and there, and stuff like that. We've seen that.
I just fall out like tired. But
are you a logistical nightmare for TOs? Like the Chris G's or like the Vicky Vipers? Shout out to Vicky.
I didn't want to
that play like 10 games in the tournament, and it's like they got to figure out how to run the tournament around them.
Yeah, so I mean, I've definitely I've entered like a lot of games, but I always like coordinate with TOs at least. Like, hey, I just need you to know I'm doing this, and this.
Because you guys know, like,
please don't hate.
You're
me.
a nightmare to these guys.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You know,
because then we like make it far, and then like it gets worse the further we make it.
Yeah, right. When you like make it far in 6 games.
Yeah,
and then we got to juggle, the Sonic Foxes, and to play like 2 big games at once.
Yeah, like where's Chris G? Like, oh, he's in KOF 14 grand finals.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's in finals for MK
he needs
too.
He needs to play finals in Dragon Ball.
He
right?
needs to play. Yeah,
Yeah, I've definitely I've smoked a few tournaments where like I hate being the reason why something runs late.
Right.
But like
one of the reasons.
Yeah, but like I know that like I had a hand in this and I'm sorry.
No foul. It's just competitive nature. That's what he's about. So.
But yeah, like so 2014, that was Friday. That was my Friday, was just Street Fighter 4. Saturday was Marvel.
Oh my god, we're still talking about Evo because it's it's a lot. Okay.
We got a lot to talk about anyway. Saturday was Marvel. And we've been training a lot. I went to a lot of tournaments for Marvel and just doing really well. So I feel good about everything. I make it to Winners Finals. I have to play PR Balrog. We get to 2-2, and he lands like the first like 2 hits on me. And I'm like, damn, this is like the worst way this could have like actually ended. But his stick fucked up.
Ooh.
And it was pausing. And I took it.
You took the one
because I'm at Evo.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing wrong with it. Like,
he was upset like at a stick because he also was like, yo, just take it, and like we moved on. Yeah. Right, but it's like I wanted to see how the match would have ended. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that entire run could have been very different. Right. But so after that happens.
So hold on, where were you at this point? Were you still in Winners?
This was Winners Finals of the first pool.
Okay, so it's already in the stack pool. Okay.
That pool was really hard. Like my first round was like kind of shaky. Then PR Balrog had Takumi on his side. Takumi's from Japan, a Phoenix player from Japan.
I remember Takumi.
Yeah, so it was us, like pretty much us 3 for the pool. Like who would have made it out between us 3? PR Balrog beat Takumi, and then we played. So after I played him, I think it was Cross. No, I played PZ Poi. Okay. I played PZ Poi. So PZ played Zero Doom Phoenix. My team has like this anti-Phoenix like kind of stuff too, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm playing PZ, and then I'm like, okay, I got the perfect hit I needed. You pop Dark Phoenix, I X Factor, command throw, I win the game. I X Factor, I get no command throw, and then I get burnt up. I'm like, all right, this is just game 1. Please don't tilt. You still know what to do. It's okay. Right? I end up winning the next 3. So after him, I play Cross from Japan too, and he played what was it? Some weird shit. I forget the team at the time. I think it was Zero Strange Dante. Yeah, that was the team. It was Zero Strange Dante. He goes up 2-0 on me incredibly fast. He beat Unknown, so I was like, we're all me, Peasy, and Unknown. Like we're all good friends anyway, right? So it kind of sucked that we were all just clumped up on the same side of the bracket, but we know how that goes. That's been that way for years, right? And then Unknown loses to Cross. I'm like, okay, so now I got to play Cross, and he goes up 2-0 like so fast. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I don't know what he's doing, but what he's doing is really gimmicky and just not safe. So I changed my strategy completely to something that's just like, just going to punish him one time, and then I get my set play games. Right. And then that worked out for me to win the next 3 straight. So at that point, I think we're in Winners like top 32 or something like that. I play Angelic, and he beats me like pretty clean. Yeah. Beats me pretty clean. That loss actually kind of worked out because he had a much harder road through Winners. Because he had to play F Champ next, right? And that was gonna be like gonna be a harder match than like my loser side. Right. He played F Champ. That was for top 8 Winners. He played F Champ and lost, and then he had to play Chris G and lost. So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of glad that you beat me. Thanks, because I didn't feel like struggling. It's been a long day. Not that I didn't struggle though, because the losers I had to play Cloud 805. I beat him.
I think when you get to that point of the tournament at Evo, you're going to struggle. Like
100%. Yeah,
because like Oh, and again, like to mention, like we had past Marvel people on our show. I talk about KBR, his like Evo run and stuff, and like one of the things was like, oh, he didn't play this, and this person when he won Evo. I'm like, yeah, but he played this, and this person.
Yeah, like it's not like he didn't have like the easiest road.
Right,
Like the people that were like favored to beat him, he just beat them.
Right, yeah, like
because he had like dual Kevin that year, which is a really hard match for him. He had Jabril, which is also a really hard match for him, and he just beat them. Like,
right,
all right,
he beat Wong.
Yeah,
which is no slouch, like in anything. Like
he beat Justin.
Justin can play a game for the first day, and he's the threat.
Yeah,
in a brand new day one game. Okay, so it's like to discount him on that regard, I think is crazy. But it's how people are.
Yeah. So my losers road ended up being Cloud 805, then Apology Man, and then Neo for top 8. And like on Saturday, I was playing Injustice 2 also. That same, I mean, Injustice 1
so
at the same day.
You're minded everybody.
I am drained.
Yes.
It's like near midnight. I'm the last match of the night, and my qualifying match is against the Phoenix. Like, so I have to like really, really focus as best I can, which is already like difficult. It gets to a point in it was game 3. This is when like my nerves just started like really just kicking in. Like he landed like the first hit, then he gets his Phoenix game. Like you get guaranteed Phoenix. I'm like, okay. So now you got to think when you're fighting Phoenix or a Phoenix based team, you always have to think ahead to where like how are you going to handle it when she pops, because you can't stop it. Right? So it gets to a point where Spencer's dead, so I have no anti-Phoenix anything right now. Then Doom dies. So now I'm left with Nova. And then I come in, he messes up like his incoming, so I get to play. Like I X Factor immediately, which was a panic. I'm like, okay, he gave me a chance, like X Factor. And then I killed Doom, and then now Phoenix is coming in. She's not popped yet, but now I have to like figure. I still haven't actually came up with a plan yet. Just like kind of winging it right now. And he has X Factor too. I land the hit, and I see like I have so much meter. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna speed tackle all over the place, and then just try and either run it out, or if I get a random hit, then I win. So she pops, I speed tackle immediately. Like I'm terrified. Like this on the Evo stage is like, I'm terrified completely, because I'm not. The plan was to use them like a little more like separate. I just kept over and over and over again. I'm like, fuck. I think I actually just shot myself in the foot by doing this. Eventually, none of us have X Factor anymore. So now it's just like, I have to just wait. I'm still winning. And I just trust my defense. And then I get the time over win after like waiting her out for like, it felt like an eternity, but it was like 40 Marvel seconds.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time.
40 Marvel seconds. So Marvel seconds are 2 like real life seconds.
Yeah.
So that was like a whole last minute and change. I'm like, I don't know what possessed me to do this. I'm like, all right, cool. It's over. Let's focus on the next game. And then the next game comes. He lands another Doom Infinite, but he drops his incoming again and gives me a chance to play. But now Spencer's alive. So now everything is just kind of working out for me. And then it came to the point where like, okay, I have this tech that I'll kill her if like I land the right hit. And then the first thing that pops up in my head is like, you fucked this up earlier today. Like, it's just so fucking negative. Like, the most negative thing I could think of, like, you fucked this up earlier today. Like, please don't do it again. Because you're going to lose if you do now this time. So, we landed grab. And then that was that was my first Evo. So, that was my first top 8. First top 8 at Evo was my first one. So, that was quite a rush. Like, I didn't know what to expect. Mind you, I got flown out there through donation drive. I was at Yipes' house, and we were playing, but we were raising up money for me to get flown out to Evo. So that happened in that day, and then I bought the stuff to just do what I got to do.
What's up?
Yeah,
like that.
That was quite the experience, and then being on the top 8 stage is it's unforgettable. It was definitely unforgettable.
Getting the crown
Yeah.
The metal. Like you see those beams? Are you the one biting the metal and?
No, no, that's not me.
The champagne. Like, yeah, buddy. It's like everybody's like, what's wrong with this guy? Like,
No, it was, and then like I shared a stage with Ray Ray. Like Ray Ray's one took me out, but it was good. It was a good experience.
What did you miss most about being at events? I know we're all going through this state, and I ask all my guests this because it affects. There's not one person on this planet that's hadn't affected. What do you miss?
I miss being around people. I miss the rush of there's this particular energy that's just not with you at home. Like you just being around people, around like big events, stuff like that. Like everything is just different now. Sitting at home is just not. It's not the same.
Not the same at all.
There have been like we've been doing like these online events. There were very few events that have like even remotely tried to like recreate this feeling. And first of all, those are Marvel events, but it's been really difficult otherwise. Like we had Twitch rivals for Marvel,
right,
which like the way everybody was involved in it, it made it feel like like a pseudo offline experience, right. And then just yesterday, what I was telling you with the Urban Gauntlet that Ray hosted, very similar feeling. A lot of money on the line. A lot of everybody's passionate about playing,
right.
And then it was amazing, just feeling that kind of energy because I didn't think I'd be able to feel that like for another year or two maybe,
right.
So that was good. But just being in person, there's nothing like it anyway. So
nothing like it at all.
Yeah, seeing everybody, seeing all the salt fly and shit. Everybody's like trying their heart out, and just being around like family, friends.
Well, there's a big difference between wanting to be at home and having to be at home.
Yeah.
Even now, like we're not back yet, of course. And there's like most times that I do find myself at home unless I have to do something.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate to be able to work from home.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it's it puts a damp on things sometimes, but
yeah, the times definitely changed. Like I'm streaming more, like taking up content creation, like to the next level. Because what else am I gonna do?
Right.
Can't compete. Yeah, you're doing the online tournaments.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it's content. Maybe I can feel something.
Right.
But
like inside,
like tiny rush that goes away in like 2 seconds, and then, but it's been like you make it work. Like I've been able to build a Twitch base, a YouTube base. So you still got to work with what you have. I don't like sitting on my ass. So
you got to do something for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's why we do this podcast, right? We just want to, just focus on individuals in the community, big or small, and just like share their stories with everybody because we're all we're mostly seen as these FGC entities and personalities, but we all have a different story to tell.
Yeah.
That being said, out of this, I've always wanted to ask you personally, why the change from Insane to Coach Steve? Like, is that like, is Coach Steve an alter ego or is Insane an alter ego? You may have alluded to that at one time, I think.
Yeah, it's,
personally, but like, why? Yeah, because for those that don't know, like he started in the community as Insane, and so like, what was the transition, or why was the transition from Insane to Coach Steve? How did that happen?
A little split personality kind of thing,
okay.
But it also just Coach Steve kind of just like stuck with me more, but in the sense of like I'm always willing to help anybody through whatever it is that they might be doing, right? Whether it just be FGC related and things like that. Did start off as like a joke, like the name Coach Steve, come to a tournament, with a whistle in hand, like I'm a little clipboard. My clipboard had like actual like notes though of like players and like matchups and stuff like that. So it wasn't like it was just how I chose to present it, basically, right? But eventually, it just like it kind of just stuck with me. Like Insane was like when I was younger, crazier,
a little immature. Insane.
That's not necessarily immature, but crazier.
Crazier, okay.
Yeah,
I've seen.
There's still those moments.
Yeah, like you channel that. You say like.
There's still those moments.
You've definitely told me in the past like I'm entering the tournament as Insane. Like I'm Insane this weekend, You know, and I guess that's maybe your different approach to like your matches.
Mentality's different.
Mentality's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more ruthless.
So it's Coach kind of the Bruce Banner, and then like
Bruce Banner to the Hulk. Yeah.
Okay.
You can say.
Right.
I love Hulk too.
That's
probably like the more perfect reference.
Or maybe like Bruce Banner, or Coach Steve is the Green Hulk that's intelligent, right? And then like Insane's the loose cannon, rah rah, you know.
Yeah. But that's pretty much how that goes, you know. And every now and then we still
bionic punch, you know.
Every now and then, you know, we still have, you know, this,
insane moments.
It's just like
it's a part of you. It's who you are.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just like whatever my brain is feeling at the time, you know. It's just I don't know. To some people, it's weird. Just like, but that's just like who I am, though. So it's just one part's crazy.
One part's crazy. It's fine. I think we all have a little crazy in us.
Yeah, one part's just crazy.
You just channel it in a constructive manner for the most part.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you know, we gonna do what we gotta do, no matter who's there. So
no matter who's there, it's all about fighting. Fight forever.
Yeah.
Yes. I think both sides embody that, no matter what.
Yeah,
which is important.
It is really important. Yeah.
What's your game right now? Like
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball. Why Dragon Ball? What is it about that game in particular right now?
I didn't want Dragon Ball to be my game.
Okay.
But I guess it's cause like the versus style feel to it that like I chose to learn it like, you know, over time. I initially hated the game. Like on release, I'm like, I don't ever want to touch this game. This game is really bad to me. But I didn't play it for like the first like 6 months or so when it came out. And then all my friends are playing it. I'm like, all right, I can't play nothing with nobody. Cause y'all don't play NRS games.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna start learning it, see how I feel over time. It eventually grew on me, right? And then it got better, then it got worse. I'm like, okay, now I'm really not playing this game. That was when like the GT Goku era came out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. So Bandai was like, they released this character like as he is, and then as soon as they did that, they said, yeah, by the way, this is the last patch of the year. So the game was not changing after that character came out, and I'm like, y'all can't be serious right now. Like, y'all really gonna leave this the way it is?
And every player had a Goku, had a GT Goku in the lineup.
You play like a point character, GT Goku, regular Goku, things like that. But that ruined the game for me a bit. And then once they like kind of fixed it up, then I started playing more again. And then like I was always like just like around. I was always like around, like watching people play and everything like that. But now like I have a team that I like really enjoy. That's good. So I'm playing Bardock, Jiren, and Broly. So the team is good, and I'm enjoying like you know every time I play that team. Pretty much only though. Like anytime I'm really playing my team, I have a lot of fun, and that's majority of my content creation base too. Okay. So it's majority of income. Like
how your content creation? How is that like? Has that been fun for you? Like to make content?
It got fun over time. Like when I first started last March, I'm like, I don't know if I can really keep up with this because I'm not actually enjoying it. But then like at the same time, it's like we're going from being active, like always going outside, going to tournaments or somebody else's to play, and then now you're just home.
Right.
So that part, I'm just like, I don't know if I could really do this. Eventually, I kind of just sucked it up. It's like, I kind of have to. So then it became fun over time. Like, I have, like, a good base, you know. Not a lot of assholes in my Twitch chat.
Right.
So that always makes it, like, better for you, like, more homely. And then eventually people, like, a lot more people just start coming around. And, like, they like what I have, like, to offer. So it works out. I still play Mortal Kombat, you know, sometimes on stream. Lately, I've been streaming more like Marvel and Street Fighter Cross Tekken, like older games.
Okay.
They're just still more fun at the end of the day.
The game that became great too late.
Yeah.
We always talk about that.
Unfortunately.
How do you feel with the moniker Coach Steve and like new players that are coming into the community? Have you been able to like interact with newer players and like?
It's been overall like positive, I'd say. Yeah.
Are they like attached to you because of your name or because of where you've been? Do they know who you are and like?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're attached to me. Like they know who I am.
Yeah.
Right. And then
or like respect you, or like they know that Coach Steve isn't just a gimmick, but like the way you.
Yeah, it's the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely say like it's been one of the more positive influences. So that makes me happy. Like when people reach out and like say their respects or like any nice things. So, but yeah, I'm glad the direction that I took with all of this, because it keeps me stable. Like mentally, it's been in a much better spot.
Definitely.
Right, and then like I'm always still able to help others. Through their own.
What do you see yourself doing in the next year or two? Like, and outside of this gaming in general, like what are your like?
It's tough to say.
Ambitions for the future.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Like ever since I graduated college, it's been like kind of in a loss, right? But like the gaming helped, and then COVID helped, like just kind of shut down everything like I enjoyed doing the most.
Right.
So now, trying to like make something of like the Twitch and the content, but like more so like take it like to
next level,
a much higher level. Yeah, because this can't be like the end game.
Like the next ninja.
I don't know about the next ninja, but like I told myself already, like this can't just be it. Like there's definitely more out there for me, and I just have to pretty much figure out what it is and just go for it.
Definitely. I want to just get into like who are your favorite like rivals in the FGC, like in terms of over the years, like.
Yeah. I mentioned before. Yeah, it's definitely Flux would be like the first, because he was pretty much like not my first rival. Yeah, but that was the one that stuck the most. Yeah.
I think it helped you a lot in this transformation, also. Yeah, from what it seems like. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, that rivalry was a huge help for everything. Like, kept my drive whenever that was lost. Kept that going. It was definitely Flux and Ray Ray. Like as rivals to friends, like
of course,
it was big for me. It was big for me. Like I owe a lot to them. I owe a lot to Marvel and the community at the time, especially. Like it was a better time.
Not Native Impact back in like 2011.
Not Native Impact. No. We don't beef with kids. He ain't a kid no more though.
He ain't a kid no more, grown ass man. But yeah, it was funny at the time.
We don't beef with kids. Even though you want to just throw them across the room sometimes, but ain't no beef with kids.
No beef with kids. We don't do that out here. I always like think about how like I see you at events and like you're just being like, even when you and I mess around, like I'll spot you from across the way.
Yeah.
Give you a snide look and you send it back.
Yeah.
I think we even like chase each other, I think, or around the venue sometimes. Like
he'll bully me.
No, it's the other way around. I'm the bigger guy, but he's the bully. He's doing that like.
Nobody's gonna believe you, right?
I know, no, it's the sad part, but it's the truth. No, but I just think about like how like everyone just gravitates to you, and everyone is popular in the community for their own purposes, right? Yeah, I think just because you're such a down to earth individual, you're very relatable, funny guy, even though you don't always display it in your demeanor, and it's little things like that when I see people like you that command whatever it is you're commanding. Yeah, it's those little things that I miss about our community. Seeing that in action, because I get a certain vantage point as a streamer, right? Like
so you get to see more. Yeah. You have to observe.
But sometimes I'm literally put into a corner as well too. Right? So like people I know at an event will not see me all weekend because they're busy. And I got to be here. But then when things are like kind of like going or in the pace, I get to kind of take a quick observation of the floor. Yeah. And all I see is stories. Whether it's somebody playing and getting hyped for a match or,
they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere. It's like, it's those little things, man, that I just like appreciate about you and the community that like I miss so much and stuff like that. So here's hoping we get back to some sense of that. I don't like to use the term going back because you don't go back in life, right? Yeah. So I don't want to say let's go back to what it used to be.
The next chapter.
Let's go to the next chapter. Better. Yes. Let's move forward. So that things are better.
And speaking of that, like I had time with Panda Global, and now I'm with Proton Gaming, And I mean, we mentioned before, like all the teams that I've been on, like it's been always family, you know. So like, when I started with Panda, the time they were just starting out, I spoke to Filipino Champ, and he actually he was a much bigger help than people like. He's a really nice guy when you don't catch him outside the don't catch him on camera.
Yeah, outside the camera. Okay.
Really nice guy, you know.
All right,
just abrasive, I guess is the right word.
Good to know that someone can vouch for that. The consensus.
I know people don't like they don't like him like that, and you have a right. Yeah, I think so. But the way he helped me was it was more than just like getting me like on Panda. It was he helped me build an entire like resume for this kind of thing, right? And something like that is like it's a skill that you learn,
right? Like building your brand, like you have a brand that
you can take with you other places. And the fact that he was he spent like pretty much an entire day with me, like working on that. That's something you just don't ever forget because like nobody else ever has to do something like that, right? But that also helps me like in other avenues, and then with the future teams and stuff like that, because it makes it easy to present yourself, right? And like. Yeah, just send out emails. You don't gotta be like nervous about anything. Like, yo, this is what I'm about, and then we'll see what happens from there. Right. And then so I've been with Panda. I think probably like 3 years. I think 2018 was the last year I was with Panda. So with that time, the time I had there was really good, really helpful. Like it's led by a doctor and then a person that's in business. Right. So like those two working together,
what's needed. Like you have that, like we talked about earlier. Like you have that, like you gotta have that foundation of like someone that can perform the business aspect. Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Correctly, like performing that.
Yeah, there's a balance between family and business there, and it was always there from day one.
That's good.
And to see how much they're all the way up there right now. It seems so. It was good to see.
Always, definitely.
Yeah, good to be a part of that.
I know we got things to do, so I won't keep you here too much longer. Yeah. But I just want to know like any shout outs you have for like people in the community that you really adore from like day one. Yeah.
So shout outs to pretty much my mentors that taught me, Jerron Grayson, Dominion, Ray. Everybody that I play Marvel with, still to this day, we all still play, talk to this day. Right. Flux, Unknown, the Bifu family, Proton Gaming. Now they've been taking care of me pretty much for like since the pandemic started. Awesome, yes. And before that too. So shout out to Proton Gaming. Thank you guys for everything, and you guys for having me. Awesome. I'm still trying to figure out who invited me. I was never told.
I don't know. It's just like I talked to my producer about this because
I just got an email, but it was like anonymous. But they told me where to be, so
they blindfold you.
Yeah, I didn't know you were gonna be here, so that would have probably changed my mind. But it's nice catching up, though. Always
a pleasure. Before you go, I want to just remind everyone that's watching. If you're not watching this on Twitch or YouTube, you can catch us listening to this on one of the different podcast channels. We are on Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So make sure you check that out. Also got the VODs on YouTube and then Twitch every Friday live around 12 to 1. That, one that time, give or take. But before we go, how do we reach you on social media? If,
you guys can follow me at Fight Coach Fight on Twitter and twitch.tv/UmCoachSteve. Those are pretty much the only two. I don't use like Instagram or Facebook.
You don't use like Carry Pigeon and stuff like that.
No,
just a phone maybe. But no, we don't do that. We don't have a phone.
I don't even use my phone.
Right. It'll probably just be on a string.
OnlyFans
coming soon. Steve, thank you so much, man, for your time.
No problem.
And it's always a pleasure. I miss you. I love you.
I love you too, bro. I appreciate y'all having me.
Definitely, man. I look forward to seeing you soon, whether that event or just whenever it is.
Whenever. At this point.
Yeah, whenever. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and I appreciate you. This is Rodimus Prime from KPB. We will see you next time on KPBCast.
This has been a KPB Media Works production.